We're recording. Hey, everybody. Welcome to your final week of Pacesetters. It's not on my face. Let me make it on my face. There we are. Hello. I hope you guys are having a great week. I missed the hat memo today, apparently. But the offspring are looking cute in their hats. And we are excited to be with you guys. You guys have been rocking it out with this Pacesetters. And I just want to encourage you that even if you think there is no stinking way I can place in this Pacesetters, there's no stinking way I'm going to get anything good out of this, you guys just really push yourselves because what you do now actually creates momentum for the next 90 days. And so if you really work hard the last week of this month, you're setting yourself up for a great October, a great November, a great December. So it's not just about Pacesetters, it's about the future of your business and making good habits. So with that being said, I'm going to start out with announcing our leaderboard. And I want to do this. I hope you guys can still see me. I opened something to the side here. But what I want to do is actually recognize a few different categories of people, okay? And so here's what I want to tell you. It is extremely close. Here's how close it is. I'm going to announce the people who are all over 300,000 points already. And some of you did that in 1 week. And some of you could do that in 1 week this week. So you could get up there in the top. So here's those who are over 300,000 points already. Callie Baker, Rachel Benham, Jessica Bollinger, Lavon Carter, Angela Davis, Trisha Garcia, Kelly Jenkins, Chelsea Jones, and Shira Williams, and Paige Wright. All of you guys are over 300,000 already. That is huge. You guys have done great at this. And you know what that means? That any of you guys there could be in the top 5. But some of you who are below 300,000 could be in the top 5 too, just by killing it this week on the voucher. So our top 5 in alphabetical order this week are Rachel Benham, Lavon Carter, Kelly Jenkins, Chelsea Jones, and Shira Williams. And you guys, it's just super close. So I just wanted to encourage you and get that out of the way and share that. And so today we are excited to teach you guys about another topic that has to do with the success of your business that is not necessarily a typical skill of booking, coaching, selling, recruiting. We've been covering these non-typical habits that are important for long-term success in this company. And part of this is fueled by Danielle and Deanne and I have been reading a book, going through a director study with National Sales Director Kate DeBlander. And the book is called The Ideal Team Player. And if you're at my unit, we talked about this at our meeting yesterday. It talks about 3 concepts that make somebody an ideal team player that not only is a great part of a team, but helps create a great team. And so for you guys who are moving into leadership, it helps you create a great team. If this is 3 characteristics of you. And if you're not strong, he basically said that they sat down and discovered all these different qualities of great team players, and they all fit in these categories. And it's funny, yesterday at my meeting, we did the same thing. We wrote down great qualities of team players, and they all fit in these categories. So it's humble, hungry, and smart. So you have to be humble. And Mary Kay, they always say you have to be teachable, trainable, and coachable. So I think that has a lot to do with humility because this business has been around for 54 years. There's people who have done this and had great success, and the ways of Mary Kay have not changed much over 54 years. And so are you humble enough to follow the lead of people before you? And so working on our humility. Hungry. Are you hungry for something more in your life? Do you have a vision? And he talked about that if you don't have humility, that you would start practicing it and shadow people that are humble. And if you lack hunger, that you would get deeply connected to your why. I've always heard it said there's no such thing as self-motivation. Or there is only self-motivation. I can't motivate Deanne to do something. She can't motivate me to do something. We can motivate ourselves. And so if you need to be more hungry to do more in your business, in your life, figure out why. What is your purpose here on this earth? What is your purpose with this business? Figure out that deep meaning. And the third thing they talk about is people smarts. So humble, hungry, and people smarts. Y'all, somebody wants to say hi. Okay, you said hi. Get down. And people smarts. And so people smarts is people skills. And, this is something that I think you maybe raised good people skills. Your parents had good people skills. Maybe you were a part of a great organization that taught you this. I learned some of my people skills in my youth group growing up. I learned some in a 4-H club. But sometimes you haven't had good training in people skills. And for people say to me, oh, Mary Kay's easy for you because you're great with people. God bless you with being great with people. I've had people say that to me. And you know what? That is not true. People skills, anybody can develop, anybody can work on. And so today, the three of us are going to tag team people skills for you guys and just some things that can help you in your long-term success of your business. Because I'm going to tell you this. In Mary Kay, we work with people. They are on our team. They are our customers. And if we have people skills that are not that great, which is not like who we are, it just is a skill we haven't learned yet, okay? So if you're bad at this, don't think like, God, I'm a mean person. No, it's just something you haven't been taught yet. But if people do not feel comfortable around you, don't necessarily like you because maybe your people skills are not great and you rub them the wrong way, they will not want to do business with you. The thing about Mary Kay is they buy from us because they like us. There's a bajillion other consultants they can buy from. They join our team because they like us. There's a bajillion other people they can sign up with. So your people skills are like number one. So the girls are going to share some different people skills to work on. And I'm going to wrap it up with some recommendations for if you're struggling with people skills, some places you can go and learn. So Danielle's going to kick us off.
Okay, girls, so I'm going to stick with my notes so that I can stay on time. They say I have a little under 10 minutes. I have a watch now. I bought a watch, so I don't try to look at my phone. So I just want to say that I think this is a really, really great thing. They can be taught. Yes, Reba, these people skills can be taught. We may not be raised with them sometimes. Maybe we have aunts, uncles, mom, dads that don't have great people skills, but we can learn that. And we know one of Mary Kay's deals is we want everyone to feel important. She wanted everyone to feel important. So I think these people skills are going to really help with that. Okay, so I want just to start off, did you know that 7% of our communication is with words? 38% of our tone and our pitch and our pace of our voice, that's 38% of the communication, and 55% with our physical appearance. That's huge because this is a technology world now, and you can get into texting, you can get into emailing, and if you don't have the right words, you can come off bossy, you can come off demanding, and you can even tick somebody off, and you don't even realize it because we're in such a technology world. And it's so important that we use salutations with our texting. Hey girl, how you doing? Instead of, hey, what are you doing? How come you don't have this done yet? It can come across that way when you're texting, and that's one of the things even Reba taught me through Leah Carter's Pace Setters. You got to use emojis and smiley faces because sometimes these text messages just don't come across great and you don't even mean for it to. And then the next thing you know, somebody's got some hurt feelings. So I would say that's really a big deal is technology, learning how to communicate through technology and do it well so that the other end is not going, what is going on here? So, and then you can see my expression here. We're going to talk a little bit about that here in just a minute. So talking on the phone, is a huge thing because even though we are doing a lot of texting and a lot of emailing and Facebook messaging and all that, talking on the phone, people can hear your tone. So it's better received. And I know sometimes people think I'm a little old fashioned, but it's because when you're on the phone, they can hear your heart. Let's put it that way. Also, eye to eye, when you're looking at somebody in their eye and you're shaking their hand, that creates confidence within you, and then they feel confident in who you are. Telling them thank you and it's pleased to meet you and things like that when you're walking into a party and you're in the moment with that person, shaking their hand with the hostess or with people who are coming in that are guests. They like to see that because it makes them feel included, and we want to make everybody feel special. Our physical appearance is even huge. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm going to use a little bit of a high school deal here, a little example. Our physical appearance, one is we can be closed off, have our arms put together, and people don't want to, they think, oh, she's closed off, she doesn't want anybody around her, or it's sending the message of don't come around me. And when we're at parties, I think incredibly important on our physical appearance. Number one, we're always wearing a dress. We're looking great. We're an advertisement of Mary Kay, but we're not in there with our head down and like, hey, how you doing? Yeah, I'm the gal giving you give that message off of, yeah, I'm the old gal that's giving you the party tonight. Yeah, just have a seat, fill out that. I wouldn't want to be there. So I think it's really important that when we're at parties, we make our hostess feel great. And when the people are coming in, your guests are coming in, you're introducing yourself. You're shaking their hand. And if you're have a circle of girls, and this is where I was going to get into high school example here. If you're in a circle of girls and you're all kind of talking, I think it's very important for the one who is giving the party to look over and acknowledge her. And I'm really huge on this. Acknowledge someone to say, hey, come on in. I'll use my hand gesture. Come on over here. May not know her yet, but let her know that it's okay to come in your circle and that you can take a moment to introduce her to everybody or introduce yourself. It makes her feel a part. When I was in high school, it was very apparent there were some circles I was not welcome in. I just wasn't. But that's okay. We don't ever want to become a clique. We don't ever want to be, even when we're at meetings, when people come into meetings, we want to make sure that we welcome them. That's why it's so huge to have somebody welcome those people. Okay, I'm at 6 minutes. I need to get on it. Sorry, I'm watching. I promise you. So it also shows that we're very confident in what we are doing as Mary Kay consultants. When we come over there as consultants, as directors, and we welcome people and we let them know that we're very glad you're here, that shows a confidence in us, and that may be the very thing that they're looking for, is to be around a bunch of confident women. All right, so a good handshake, a double handshake, I think is really good too. That's something that was brought up on something I listened to, is when you shake somebody's hand, put your other hand on top of theirs and say, I'm really glad you're here. It makes them feel important. It makes them feel like you really want them there. So that's huge. Okay, so 50, let's see. Don't break eye contact. This is a huge deal. When you're at a meeting, when you're doing a facial, don't break eye contact. My phone goes off, and I'm trying to learn to make sure I turn it down. But my phone will go off 20 times during a facial, just seems like. But if you're constantly looking down, whether you're at a meeting, at a facial, at a party, you're telling that person they're not important. It's just this. You've taken that time to do that facial, to do that party, to be at that appointment, to do that interview. Now, I'm not saying there's not emergencies. My family has learned that if it's an emergency, they better put 911. And if it's not an emergency, when they text me and it has 911 on there, they're getting a spanking when they get home, because I will break it every time. But if, try not to look at your phone all the time. I've noticed at times I've been at meetings where somebody's just texting and going on, and they have a guest there, and it's like, oh, we cannot do that, It would not make me feel important if I was someone's guest and they were constantly texting. So we got to be really careful with this technology thing. We got to make sure that we're using it correctly when we are taking it with us when we're going to different places. All right. Oh, boy, I just went over a bunch of that. I didn't realize I had so much of it memorized in there. Okay, let's see. If you need it, all right. Oh, another thing is when you're talking to somebody, be in the moment with them. Your body position when you're looking at them. If your body's turned the other way and you're letting them know you need to get out of there, okay? But stay in the moment with them, But if they are needing to leave, you can tell. Maybe Maybe they're in a hurry and you need to be careful to realize that they need to go ahead and get on out there, and they're trying to listen to you and they've got their face towards you. But if they're looking off, I mean, if they're looking off and their foot is pointed out towards the door, it's probably a good indication you're taking up too much of their time, and you might just say, hey, I just have 30 more seconds and we're done with this. And then they feel relieved because they really may need to get somewhere after the party or whatever. So, and though, of course, those are the people you want to close with first. All right, tone of your voice. I'm going to go over that real quick because I'm running out of time. 30% of our message on and our pace, which I'm going really fast. I hope you guys can, because I'm kind of a slow person, but when I get to going fast, hopefully you can understand me. 38% of our message or the pace of our speech is interpreted in the tone or voice or the pitch, our pitch and our tone in our voice. 38% of that. So so watch your tone when you're talking with someone. You know, don't be demanding. You get demanding, people just kind of like shut off. You know, you have to be real careful with your tone. So with a lot of information via the written word, text, emails, Facebooks, there's an absence of tone in your voice. So can you see again, the technology, we have to be very careful because they don't hear the tone of our voice. They don't know how we're coming across. So people and messages are interpreting the tone based on the words that you use. So I would say every time you do a text message, every time you do an email, read it back to yourself. See how it affects you before you send it out. You may need to go ahead and add some emojis, some smiley faces, or some salutations. Instead of just putting in there, you need to call me. I've had those texts come on, you need to call me. I'm like, okay, I'll call you when I'm ready. You know, that's what that brings up. But if it says, hey girl, I really need to talk to you, can you call me, with a smiley face? Hey, I'm right on it. It means like, I'm ready to do that. But we're all human. When somebody demands something of us, we just kind of shut down and say, hey, you know, I'll just do this when I'm ready. But when you're nice to them and you can bring that tone out in words and emojis, it really helps. Let's see. Oh, high D's. I thought this was funny. High D's usually don't like this because they're straight to the point. You know, and their heart is great, but high D's are straight to the point. So they have to make sure that they slow back down and put some emojis and smiley faces and stuff like that in there. I mean, Reba has really taught me that well too, because I may be a high I, but when I'm trying to get my point across, I just text a message and boom, there it is. And it sometimes doesn't look real good. All right. And so I would also say when you look at people and you're talking with them, I'm going to give you a quick example and then I got to get off here because I'm done with my 10 minutes. But maybe over. But Mark the other day I thought was kind of funny. He was saying something and I was going. And I was concentrating on what he was trying to say because I couldn't really hear him, but he thought I was mad. So I would say you need to practice in front of the mirror when you're talking to people on the phone. However your expression is probably how your tone is going to come across. And when you're talking to people one-on-one or 5-on-1 or giving a speech, practice on your facial expressions. That is a way of communication too. So I'm going to jump off here. There's a lot more I could share, but those are kind of some of the basic things that I think are really important about going out there and communicating with people and being able, I would say this, the tone of your voice, be careful because it can create judgment where you don't want judgment. The written word lacks tone, so it can be easily misinterpreted, so make sure you read back over that. And we must add words for our intended tone, salutations, emojis. So that's what I have to say. I tried to get a lot in there in a quick amount of time. So I think you guys get the message. I love you.
Danielle, that was so great. I am so excited. So before I switch over to Deanne here, I want to say something that Danielle brought up that's a great point. There are different personality styles, and some of them are more direct and to the point, and some of them are a little more out there and flamboyant and fun. And we have to be really careful that we are aware of ours. And it's not just one or the other. Like, there's not like, you have one personality, oh my gosh, you're bad at people skills. We all have to be aware. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, for me, I'm a little more direct. So what Danielle was saying, I have to be aware of, did I add an emoji, a salutation? I love doing these videos because it shows our face, how we react to each other. And it's a good check for me. Like, how are my reactions? But it's also the same for, you know, your more fun personalities. You could be too much for somebody. And I think that one thing that I've heard of Mary Kay is to try to mirror somebody. So someone sits down with you and they are very reserved, that you would meet them where they are and let them feel your heart. If someone is texting you and they are like over the top emojis, then send them a few back, you know, but if they are like more direct, maybe don't send them 35 in your next message. And so I love that you brought that up about the personality styles, Danielle, with this, because I think people skills, it's very important to be aware of other people and then try to match them. So that is so great. So great. Okay, Deanne's going to share a few people skills next. Let me get her going.
All right. Can y'all hear me okay? Okay, great. So I am so excited that we are doing this because I just think that this is like vital to our business and having a successful business and building relationships and just learning a couple key points and pointers as far as people skills can really help you go a long way in building relationships. And so I'm going to be totally honest that we got a Voxer from Julia Burnett. She's NSD, and she is absolutely brilliant. And so we are totally just stealing some ideas from her and sharing them with you. And so these are things that would say we're also working on, absolutely. And we are just stealing from somebody who knows a little bit more than we do, probably. So I'm going to share just some notes that I have from her. And one of the things that I took a lot from her was this saying that she said that he or she who completes is honored. And so one of the important things about people skills is making for sure that when you're around other people that they feel valued and they feel important and they feel like their time is well spent with you. And so part of that is that nobody likes to be cut off when they're saying something. And, you know, I kind of had to giggle because she was talking about which personality style likes this the least. And it's an S, which is me, which is what I get to train you guys on. So I kind of thought that was super but hilarious. But I just want you guys to think about that. He or she who completes is honored. And so whether you're in a conversation with a customer or another consultant or somebody in your day-to-day life, part of that whole personality thing is knowing that sometimes it takes different personality styles longer to process your information. And so, like, for my personality style, being an S, I may be thinking of a response, and if you're a D, you've already responded with my response and then added another response before I even get mine out. And then I'm frustrated because I didn't get to hear my 2 cents. And so I didn't feel valued. And so I just thought that was a really great thing to think about is, you know, I think we get in a habit of we're all busy, we all have things going on, we all have stuff to get done and things to communicate, that when we get busy, we tend to not take a second and make for sure that you're valuing that other person and letting them complete their own thoughts. Julia talked about her daughter is an S personality, and she's just a little bitty girl, and so she's still learning how to formulate these thoughts and to get them out. And she said, you know, may or may not be her personality, but that was something that was so hurtful because it's your daughter and you want her to be able to speak her piece, you know. And so just to really think about that. So other ways that you can show that you have listened without finishing her sentence. You guys ever been in a conversation with somebody and you like almost get to the end and they're like, take it away and finish your sentence. And it's almost like they don't mean it necessarily like hurtful. They just want to prove that they're listening to you and that they heard you. But it doesn't necessarily always come across that way. Let's be honest. Think about the last time you were in a conversation and that happened. How did you feel immediately? So other ways that you could show that you were listening without, number one, verbally repeating what she said or finishing her thoughts would be using empathy. Empathy breaks down her walls and improves conversation. So an example would be, maybe you're talking to a hostess who is telling you, you're calling to talk about her party, and she's telling you what a crazy week she had because so-and-so was in the hospital and so-and-so was doing this and so-and-so was doing that. And instead of saying, oh, I understand that you had a crazy week, but we all have crazy weeks, how would you feel if somebody said that to you? You'd be like, yeah, dang girl. But if you said, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that happened to you this week. I'm sure that totally changed your plans and, changed what you had in mind. What if we could do this? And then go back with a response on how to go ahead and, continue to have the party or reschedule or whatever, and keep her on your books, as opposed to, making her feel like she wasn't valued because she did have a crazy week, right? So that was that one. Okay. Another thought that she had was the art of really listening. And that's a really, really, really big thing, because if you remember, the point that I got out of this is making for sure that other people are valued. And so if I'm in your presence and I'm thinking of all the other things that I have to do when you're trying to talk to me, you can absolutely tell. We can all tell when somebody's doing something else and trying to talk to us. It doesn't make me feel valued. So the art of really listening and not thinking about, what am I going to say next? She talked about how she usually does this when she's around somebody that she really wants to impress or she really looks up to. And it's kind of counteractive, just to be completely honest, because you're so busy thinking about your next response, and they can see that from you, that you're not really listening and valuing them. So then you're not getting where you wanted to get. So she talked about, instead of the whole time they're listening, you're listening, is to have love in your eyes when you're listening to them. And so just to really concentrate on what they're saying and just show. She said, I have friends who are just total believers in Christ and in Jesus. And she said, when I'm around them, I just can feel it from them because of their eyes. And it's not anything that they say or they do, but they're just looking at me and they're concentrating, and you can tell. And I think that's so transparent about how we feel when we're put in a position. You can totally tell if somebody's just going box checking, A, B, C, D, E. I'm supposed to talk to everybody, or I'm coming to you and I'm saying, Danielle, how are you? How's your week been? Right? Right? So having love in your eyes and being genuinely curious. So being genuinely curious is asking questions because you really care about them and you really want to get to know them. She told this story how she was at a pool party and she met this African American woman, and the lady was just sitting by the pool by herself. And Julie was like, oh my gosh, I hate it. She's sitting by herself. So she went and sat next to her and kind of just started up a conversation, not to book her, not to anything, just to be open and be genuine. And she said she learned about this woman, this amazing story that she had of triumph and all this stuff that this woman had done. She, I guess, was in some kind of African country, got stranded for about 9 months, found a baby, and for 9 months she took care of the baby and herself until they were found. And then now she's in the US, and what a what a change in her life that has been, and this amazing story that this lady had. She was just waiting for somebody to come just listen. And just how people have stories that they want to tell, and we want to get to know them, and we want to grow our business, yes, but we also want lifetime friendships. And when we listen and we're genuinely curious, that's how those things are built. So I encourage you to really take that in over the next couple of weeks of just being genuinely curious about people. I think there's so many stories of people who have been through so much or been through something that's similar, that maybe something you're going through, that when you just ask them questions and give them the freedom to say, what's going on in their life without you taking all their drama. I'm not saying that, don't take all their drama, but just, getting to know people. And she also talked about humor and gratitude, and how sometimes it really helps people's walls come down when you're just humorous and you're okay to laugh at yourself. And you're just super real with people, and I thought about this in my own business, because of my personality type. I like to make for sure that my appointments go perfect, and my this goes perfect, and my this goes perfect. But when I look back over my business, the best relationships I have built were the days that I was totally not perfect and totally not on point and totally didn't do it right necessarily. It's kind of like the story of this girl with the smoothies. So there's a story of two girls, and they're at opposite ends of the store.
Hey, Deanne.
And one is...
Hey, we're going to need to pause this and come back to this story. We had some technology issues getting started, and we are running out of recording time. So we're going to stop right here and pick back up with Deanne's story, okay?
Okay.